The Royal Air Force's A400M Atlas made history by touching down on the remote Norwegian island of Jan Mayen for the first time, a feat that underscored NATO's growing ability to project power and sustain operations in the extreme Arctic environment. The aircraft's arrival was not merely a test of flying skill or aircraft endurance, it was a deliberate and highly symbolic demonstration of Allied logistical reach, operational access, and deterrence in one of the most inhospitable regions on Earth. The mission delivered a U.S. Marine Corps Joint Light Tactical Vehicle, or JLTV, as part of a broader trilateral exercise involving the United Kingdom, Norway, and the United States, each contributing to an integrated test of rapid deployment and Arctic interoperability. Jan Mayen, a volcanic outpost situated roughly midway between Greenland and mainland Norway, has long been viewed as a geographic challenge, isolated, windswept, and dominated by a constantly changing climate. Its airstrip is minimal, its terrain unforgiving, and its proximity to vital transatlantic sea lanes makes it strategically significant. Landing a large tactical airlifter like the A400M on such a site required not only precision but also confidence in the aircraft's ability to handle short, uneven, and potentially unstable landing surfaces. The Royal Air Force described the operation as a validation of NATO's capability to deploy high-value assets across the high north with minimal infrastructure support, something that would have been nearly impossible just a few decades ago. The mission's cargo, the JLTV, carried an additional layer of strategic symbolism. Configured to simulate the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps' Expeditionary Ship Interdiction System, MESIS, the vehicle represented a rapidly deployable, land-based anti-ship missile launcher designed for coastal defense and sea denial operations. The MESIS platform, built around Kongsberg's naval strike missile, can threaten surface combatants from shorelines or island bases, providing an asymmetric counterweight to adversary naval forces. By airlifting a JLTV to Jan Mayen, NATO effectively demonstrated that it can bring coastal missile capabilities into the Arctic theater at short notice, extending its deterrence footprint deep into the Norwegian and Greenland seas. From a technical standpoint, the Airbus A400M Atlas was the perfect aircraft for such a mission. Positioned between the smaller Lockheed Martin C-130J Hercules and the larger Boeing C-17 Globemaster III, the A400M offers a unique combination of payload capacity, range, and short-field performance. Capable of carrying up to 37 tons of cargo, including armored vehicles, the Atlas can take off and land on semi-prepared or even unpaved runways, an essential feature for Arctic operations, where airfields are rare and ground conditions unpredictable. The Royal Air Force has operated the A400M since 2014 under the designation Atlas C.1, employing it in missions ranging from humanitarian relief in the Caribbean to major evacuations in crisis zones. Over time, the aircraft has matured into a versatile workhorse that bridges tactical and strategic lift capabilities, making it a cornerstone of NATO's modern air mobility network. Executing a landing on Jan Mayen also required extensive planning, coordination, and meteorological forecasting. Arctic conditions change rapidly, with strong winds, snow squalls, and low visibility posing constant hazards. The A400M's advanced avionics, fly-by-wire controls, and powerful turboprop engines provided the stability and precision necessary to approach and land safely in such an environment. For the crew, operating in near isolation with no nearby support facilities, self-sufficiency was critical. All equipment, provisions, and maintenance tools had to be carried on board, ensuring that the aircraft and personnel could operate independently for the duration of the mission. This degree of autonomy reflects the broader NATO emphasis on flexible, expeditionary logistics in contested and remote environments. The participation of the U.S. Marine Corps and Norwegian Armed Forces transformed the sortie from a technical demonstration into a true multinational exercise. Working together on Jan Mayen's rugged terrain, the forces rehearsed the rapid deployment and employment of mobile systems from an austere airstrip. This collaborative framework mirrors NATO's evolving Arctic posture, one that prizes interoperability, adaptability, and seamless integration among allied units. As Arctic temperatures rise and the region becomes increasingly accessible, maintaining operational readiness in the high north is becoming a strategic imperative. The exercise demonstrated not only that NATO can reach remote locations, but also that it can do so as a cohesive, multi-domain force capable of joint action under severe conditions. Geopolitically, the mission carried an unmistakable message. The high north is emerging as a critical arena in global security, where melting sea ice is opening new maritime routes and altering the balance of access between NATO members and Russia. The latter's northern fleet, headquartered on the Kola Peninsula, has long relied on the relative isolation of Arctic waters to maintain secure bastions for its strategic submarines and surface vessels. By establishing the ability to deploy forces and sensors to places like Jan Mayen, NATO signals that it can monitor, reinforce, and, if necessary, contest activity across the region's maritime approaches. This projection of credible access complicates adversary planning and enhances deterrence, reinforcing the alliance's commitment to protecting transatlantic sea lines of communication. Vice Admiral Rune Andersen, head of Norway's joint headquarters, emphasized that the operation aligns with Norway's long-standing principle of preparedness through allied cooperation. In his view, credible deterrence in the Arctic depends on visible, practiced capabilities, not merely on declarations of intent. The Jan Mayen mission fits squarely within this philosophy, demonstrating that NATO can respond quickly, deploy effectively, and sustain itself even in extreme environments. While defensive in nature, the operation sends a clear signal: Allied forces are ready and capable of defending their northern territories under any conditions. For the Royal Air Force, the success of the Jan Mayen sortie also reinforced confidence in the A400M as a strategic enabler for future Arctic and expeditionary missions. The aircraft's adaptability, combined with its payload flexibility and rugged field performance, has allowed it to take on roles once reserved for multiple different platforms. In the long term, this efficiency reduces logistical burdens and expands the alliance's ability to project power globally. The sortie demonstrated that modern airlift is not only about moving material from one point to another, but about enabling complex, joint operations where logistics, technology, and strategy converge. Beyond its immediate military implications, the operation highlighted the increasing importance of Arctic logistics in defense planning. As global interest in the Arctic intensifies, driven by emerging shipping lanes, resource competition, and environmental change, NATO's ability to operate freely in the region becomes a vital element of security assurance. The successful Jan Mayen landing proved that geography no longer imposes insurmountable barriers. With the right mix of aircraft, planning, and allied cooperation, even the most isolated island can serve as a forward operating node. Ultimately, the mission's legacy lies not in the novelty of a first landing, but in the concept it validated. NATO can now project advanced assets, vehicles, sensors, and strike systems into the Arctic theater with minimal reliance on pre-existing infrastructure. It can establish a presence where none existed, sustain operations under severe conditions, and integrate national forces into a cohesive response framework. This transformation redefines what is possible for Allied logistics and deterrence in the 21st century. The Arctic sortie of the A400M was both a technical triumph and a strategic statement. It proved that Allied air mobility is no longer constrained by geography or weather. From the perspective of deterrence, it confirmed that NATO's reach extends to the very edge of the map, into regions once deemed inaccessible. For adversaries observing from afar, the message could not be clearer: the alliance can move where it must, when it must, and with whatever capability the mission requires. For NATO planners, it marked a new benchmark in operational flexibility, a glimpse of a future where even a frozen volcanic island can become a launch point for integrated defense in the world's most challenging frontier.